So welcome to this service of Stations of the Cross. These stations, I've got 13 here. We originally planned a series of 14, but a couple of them are missing because people weren't able to get them to me and I wasn't quite sure who were doing them. So one of those we're just going to miss out altogether. One of them I'm going to replace with a different one that isn't in this series that I made a few years ago. So we have that. And what we did, Richard Popplewell ran a workshop at the beginning of Lent, where first of all I talked about the Stations of the Cross and some of the traditions of them and how they were a development of the idea of pilgrimage. And we looked at some examples, some traditional examples and some more contemporary examples. And then we gave everybody a short gospel passage, the passages that we're going to hear this morning, and invited people to pick one. And they were also given an A4 canvas, and we asked everybody to respond to the gospel passage on the A4 canvas in portrait style. It didn't need to be pictorial, it could be abstract, just something that was going to be a focus of meditation for you as we go around them alongside the gospel reading. And the passages go through the various gospel accounts of Jesus's last 24 hours. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say an opening prayer, and then we'll spend some time with each station in turn. And for each one, I'll put it up. I've got the first one here already. I'll put it up, and then we'll begin with this response, which is a very traditional response. I'll say, "We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you." And if you could respond, "Because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world." We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. So we'll say that each time. And then I'll read the short gospel passage that inspired the image, and we'll spend a minute or two contemplating it in silence. And then I'll say a very brief prayer, it's just a one-line prayer, and we'll move on to the next image. And then I'll end with the Lord's Prayer and a closing prayer, which is a slightly different version of the opening prayer I've written. So if you've just joined us, welcome. We're about to start going through the Stations of the Cross, and I'm going to read an opening prayer. As the sun sets, the shadows lengthen. As the light dies, darkness gathers. As power is threatened, violence is deployed. As trust is betrayed, fear looms. As we enter once again into this story of shadows and darkness, of violence and betrayal, of death and fear, bless us, God of vulnerability, with the courage to bear witness to the pain of the world, the reality of betrayal, the persistence of violent power. Bless us, God of vulnerability, with the courage to walk the way of the cross, desiring nothing more than to seek your will, confident in your self-giving love. Amen. So we already have up on the wall the first station, Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, which was painted and collaged by Kath. So our first response: we adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took along Peter and the two sons of Zebedee and began to feel sorrow and distress. Then he said to them, "My soul is sorrowful even to death. Remain here and keep watch with me." He advanced a little and fell prostrate in prayer, saying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." When he returned to his disciples, he found them asleep. He said to Peter, "So you could not keep watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may not undergo the test. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Welcome if you've recently joined us. This is the first in our Stations of the Cross that we created for this parish. I'm going to leave a minute or two silence now for you to contemplate that reading and this image, and then I'll close with a prayer and we'll move on to the next one. Lord, grant us your strength and wisdom, that we may seek to follow your will in all things. Amen. The second station, Jesus, betrayed by Judas, is arrested. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Then, while Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, accompanied by a crowd with swords and clubs, who had come from the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. His betrayer had arranged a signal with them, saying, "The man I shall kiss is the one. Arrest him and lead him away securely." He came and immediately went over to him and said, "Rabbi," and he kissed him. At this they laid hands on him and arrested him. Lord, grant us the courage of our convictions, that our lives may faithfully reflect the good news that you bring. Amen. That last one was by me. This next one is by Dave Bradley. I don't know who did all of them, but I'll tell you where I do. So this is the third station, Jesus denied by Peter. I had to get this one emailed to me and printed out, so I'm sorry if it's not quite as good quality as the others. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Now Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard. One of the maids came over to him and said, "You too were with Jesus the Galilean." But he denied it in front of everyone, saying, "You do not know what you are talking about." As he went out to the gate, another girl saw him and said to those who were there, "This man was with Jesus the Nazarene." Again he denied it with an oath, "I do not know the man." A little later, the bystanders came over and said to Peter, "Surely you too are one of them. Even your speech gives you away." At that he began to curse and to swear, "I do not know the man." And immediately a cock crowed. Then Peter remembered the word that Jesus had spoken. "Before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times." He went out and began to weep bitterly. Lord, grant us the gift of honesty, that we may not fear to speak the truth, even when difficult. Amen. Welcome to those who've recently joined us. This is the 4th station. Jesus is judged by Pilate. And, Vin's just joined us. This one was done by Vin. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. The chief priests with the elders and the scribes, that is the whole Sanhedrin, held a council. They bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. Pilate questioned him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" He said to him in reply, "You say so." The chief priests accused him of many things. Again, Pilate questioned him. "Have you no answer? See how many things they accuse you of." Jesus gave him no further answer, so that Pilate was amazed. Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas and handed Jesus over to be crucified. Lord, grant us discernment, that we may see as you see, not as the world sees. Amen. The fifth station is one of those that I didn't manage to get in this lockdown. So I'm using this one that I created in 2016. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Then Pilate took Jesus and had him scourged. And the soldiers wove a crown out of thorns and placed it on his head, and cloaked him in a purple cloak. And they came to him and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they struck him repeatedly. Lord, grant us patience in times of suffering, that we may offer our lives as a sacrifice of praise. Amen. Sixth station, Jesus bears the cross, and this is by Marzia. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. When the chief priests and the guards saw Jesus, they cried out, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and crucify him. I find no guilt in him." They cried out, take him away, crucify him." Pilate said to them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Then he handed him over to them to be crucified. So they took Jesus, and carrying the cross himself, he went out to what is called the place of the skull, in Hebrew, Golgotha. Lord, grant us strength of purpose, that we may faithfully bear our crosses each day. Amen. The seventh station, Jesus is helped to carry the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. They pressed into service a passer-by, Simon, a Cyrenian, who was coming in from the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to carry the cross. Lord, grant us willing spirits, that we may be your instruments on earth. Amen. The 8th station, Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem, and this one's by Mariam. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. A large crowd of people followed Jesus, including many women who mourned and lamented him. Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep instead for yourselves and for your children. For indeed the days are coming when people will say, 'Blessed are the barren, the wombs that never bore and the breasts that never nursed.' At that time people will say to the mountains, 'Fall upon us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if these things are done when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry?" Lord, grant us gentle spirits, that we may comfort those who mourn. Amen. The 9th station, Jesus is crucified, and this one's by Edward. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him and the criminals there, one on his right, the other on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Lord, grant us merciful hearts, that we may bring your reconciliation and forgiveness to all. Amen. Tenth station, Jesus talks to the thieves. This one's by Richard. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Now one of the criminals hanging there reviled Jesus, saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." The other, however, rebuking him, said in reply, "Have you no fear of God? For you are subject to the same condemnation. And indeed, we have been condemned justly, for the sentence we received corresponds to our crimes. But this man has done nothing criminal." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied to him, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Lord, grant us perseverance, that we may never stop seeking you. Amen. The 11th station, Jesus speaks to his mother and the disciple. I'm afraid I don't know the name of the person that did this one. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary of Magdala. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple there whom he loved, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold, your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his home. Lord, grant us constancy, that we may be willing to stand by those in need. Amen. So our penultimate station, Jesus dies on the cross. This one was created by Diana. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon, because of an eclipse of the sun. Then the veil of the temple was torn down the middle. Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." And when he had said this, he breathed his last. Lord, grant us trust in you, that when our time on earth is ended, our spirits may come to you without delay. Amen. So our final station, Jesus is placed in the tomb. This one's by Jackie. We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you, because by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. When it was evening, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who was himself a disciple of Jesus. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Then Pilate ordered it to be handed over. Taking the body, Joseph wrapped it in clean linen and laid it in his new tomb that had been hewn out of the rock. Then he rolled a huge stone across the entrance to the tomb and departed. Lord, grant us awareness of our own power and influence, that we may use it for good. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. And a closing prayer. As the sun sets, the shadows lengthen. As the light dies, darkness gathers. As power is threatened, violence is deployed. As trust is betrayed, fear looms. As the source of all life is shattered, defences are broken down, and all that once was lies entombed. The earth lies waiting, 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 waiting for what new thing might be to come. Amen. Thank you for joining us for this Stations of the Cross. Do feel free to share it or to spend time contemplating it later. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to use them live in church. We'll be here again tomorrow at 9:15. Lily will be taking morning prayer here tomorrow at 9:15, and then I'll be doing a communion service for Easter Day on Sunday at 10 o'clock. I'll put a copy of the order of service that I've used up as well after we finish this. Goodbye and God bless.